Welcome to Spider-Verse Minute, the tri-weekly podcast where we watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 1 minute at a time. I'm Sean Slater.
And I'm his sister Caroline.
And this week, we're starting with minute 97, which opens with Peter disappearing into the portal and ending a minute later with Vanessa and Richard glitching about.
I have titled this minute, The Final Battle.
The start of the big showdown, Kingpin.
The climax.
In one corner, we have Kingpin weighing in at the size of an elephant.
One corner? That man takes up at least 3.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. He probably has 3 corners of the ring.
In this half of the... And then in the other corner.
Yeah, and then in the other corner, we have weighing in at 100 pounds soaking wet. Miles.
He's a spry boy.
Yeah. One thing I noticed at the very beginning of the minute going on in the background that I don't think I noticed happening before is all of the little speed lines, like the dashing about just wisps of line color things. I don't really know how to describe them, but
I don't think I've ever noticed that either.
We have the Kirby dots just going around in the back.
Yeah.
And then there's all these line things,
Oh.
swirls.
Oh gosh,
Stuff.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, splashing around.
I never registered that.
And so I don't know if I feel like it just started I think it started when they started jumping into the portal. But this is when it really jumped out at me.
Yeah. I never noticed that before. Now I almost want to go back to the other mints and see if it's there.
Yeah, I
I'll do
just
that later.
yeah, I thought it was just really cool. Just another really cool effect to add to the background to make it feel a bit more dynamic.
Yeah, it feels less static and definitely like there's still stuff going on. In that same scene, I really love Miles' facial expressions here.
Him saying goodbye to Peter.
Yeah, like his little nod.
Yeah.
Once Peter's gone, and then his look of determination that he gets on before he pulls the mask down completely.
Yeah, this is definitely Miles was in serious mode before, but I think now that everybody's safe in their own universe, he can really focus on Kingpin and stopping it now and turning it off.
Yeah.
Whereas before he was kind of playing a bit defensively, and now it's okay, it's time to go on the offense.
Yeah. I love how they're literally fighting on the side of a building.
Yeah, and Kingpin just walks over from one side to the other.
I know. I also appreciate the sonic wave of flying broken glass.
Yeah, I like that. That trope in movies where
Me too.
it's okay, a big blast of something comes and it causes the ground to just divot like that.
Yeah.
And then it happens here. The glass is all triangles as well. It all breaks into just nice easy triangles to the simplest smallest shape you can use when doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I also love how Miles is just flipping like a crazy acrobat.
Yeah.
During all this, and part of me kind of thought while I was taking notes of is he doing this instinctively or did he have to practice doing backflips earlier?
I feel like it was instinctive,
right?
A mix of instinct and he probably already knows how to do them, and he's just now that he's this much stronger, it's a lot easier to do them.
Okay.
Where he probably I could see him having some not acrobatics training, but just jumping around with his friends and maybe some dancing, whether that's something more formal that his dad had him do, or break dancing or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just something all spider people are innately
They're
know
just
how
really
to do.
Flexible.
Yeah.
They all just know how to bend in half.
Once someone becomes a superhero, that's part of the transition is they all learn how to do amazing aerial acrobatics.
When you become a superhero who can't fly specifically.
Yeah.
If you can fly, it doesn't always apply to you. Sometimes it does, but not always.
And I like one of the things he jumps off is a mailbox which I feel like it's starting, like, I know it's a common, like, oh, they're in the city, of course there's going to be mailboxes on, street corners and whatnot, but I feel like it's something that they showed, like, I don't know, it feels like Miles more. I feel like it's supporting my theory that all the giant things are just things that are related to Miles. There is another thing in the next minute, I think, that I think also further supports it.
Yeah, there's a few things. I think it's a really good theory, whether they meant it intentionally or not.
Or they just already had those.
Yeah, like, who knows?
They're like, okay, just scale it up 150% or 1,000%.
Moving on, yeah. I love how Miles takes the gun from Kingpin and goes, "That's cheating."
Yeah, and it's nice that they didn't have Miles freeze here and, like, have a flashback to Uncle Aaron. Where here he was just like, nope, gotta get this out of the way and gotta get, to move on.
I feel like they could use that in the future, but I feel like it has to be, like, a kind of more, maybe not even more specific.
It could also just be, like, maybe, his adrenaline's just running right now.
Yeah,
and
like
so,
that sort
like,
of thing.
Have it happen in, like, a more everyday life, or have it where, like, it's someone else, someone else's family. Like, he's just doing his normal patrol stuff, and then it happens to somebody else, and that's when he freezes.
Yeah, or I could even see it being, like, he's just so focused on this right now. Yeah, that, like, maybe when he's just in a regular battle and he's not super, like, hyper-focused on something, because he seems pretty hyper-focused here.
Yeah.
Like, maybe when he's not so hyper-focused in another fight, that could probably cause him to go back.
I like how the button's just kind of floating. not attached to anything. So, so they clearly could have put it in a more convenient spot, because it's clearly a wireless deactivation switch, and so there was really no need for to have it up there, or that's just, like, the physics playing around with it and it's still wired, but it's just, like, wired through a wormhole or something, and, like, the wiring's coming out somewhere else.
Maybe they just put it up there because then that way people wouldn't be able to go up there and deactivate it easily.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I do love how the button's just kind of floating by, vibing. I also love how a subway car comes by and Miles just grabs onto that, and he seems more focused on the button than he is on actually fighting Kingpin.
Yeah.
Which I kind of love.
Yeah, he's like, okay, see you later, I'll deal with you when I get done with this. And then it is kind of interesting how, like, it flies by, we see Miles jump on it, and then, like, Kingpin seemingly just appears on the train. And at first I was like, it felt like I thought we were watching the train from Kingpin's point of view, but obviously we're not, because he gets on the train after it's long gone from the building, and or he's got some teleportation powers we don't know about.
The next note I have is a more serious one. I love the fight in the subway. Yeah. Part of it is because I have no idea how Kingpin's moving in this subway.
Yeah, he's got very little room to move.
He's got, like, abs. I'm like, how are you moving at all? Like, in any way. But the fight's really good, and the part that I love the most is when he finally grabs Miles, and we start getting a parallel to the flashback that we have earlier, where he's holding Spider-Man up against the wall, and he has a fist up. And then the line he says here is, "I can't wait to kill one more Spider-Man," which I don't know if we talked about it before, because I don't think this is the first line referring to it, but, like, they just flat out, like, straight up. Like, they don't sugarcoat anything in this movie. Yeah. It's like, yeah, he's gonna kill him. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Be quite a movie to start. I'm just like, yep, 2 spider people just got murdered in it. The end.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god. I mean, when you think about it, this movie's body count is at least 2 people. Yeah. 4. I lie. It's 4.
Who are the other 2?
Kingpin's wife and son.
They're already dead, though.
But, like, we still see it, so I'm counting it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, it's a big part. So, or, do you think Liv is dead.
Oh, no. Goodness, no.
Wait, Goblin also died, so it's 5.
We don't see him die either.
No, we do. We see his hand,
that
remember?
Goblin,
Yeah.
like, in the beginning of the movie. That's right.
Yeah, in the
I was
beginning.
thinking of Tombstone.
No, not Tombstone. Goblin.
Yeah.
Grim Goblin. Yeah. 5. Which is a lot when you think about it for a kid's movie.
Does Goblin die?
Yeah, because we see his hand and then we never see him for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, but he might just be sleeping.
Under that much rubble?
He has a giant lizard.
True. But I'm pretty sure, because I think we talked about it in that minute, we're like, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
So the body count for this movie is 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really all that high, but...
It's not high in movies in general, but when you consider it for, like, a kid's movie, it's pretty high.
I don't know. I disagree.
What?
I mean, most Disney movies have at least a body count of 2. Like, usually they show the parents dying. Like...
Well, okay. Good point there.
Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a fairly normal amount of
I don't know.
dead people in a movie.
I feel like that's pretty high for at least a kid's movie. And they're pretty blatant and like don't lighten it up at all.
Yeah.
For 2 of them.
Yeah.
Well, that was my running rant on that, but
On the train, I liked how it was flashing between the different universes.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
And like we get Miles's, and then it's either Ham's or Penny's. I'm not really sure. There's one that flashes a couple times where there's just no seats to it, and it's like an all red train. And so like part of me with the all red color scheme makes me think it's Penny's. And just, I don't know, I guess everybody stands in the future.
I mean, they all have robots.
And then, but also part of me thinks it might be Ham's because, like, they're animals, and so they might just be, I guess they're all, like, do we see any of the other animals from his universe?
Not in his universe. Not that I can think of.
Okay. I was going to say, they might all just be, like, walking on 2 legs kind of animals, though, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get Noir's, whose is the most obvious, because it's all black and white and old timey.
Well, the one thing when I was taking notes, I actually paused perfectly on like one of when it was switched to Noir's.
Yeah.
And what I really loved about it is like it wasn't just black and white, but there was like suitcase luggage above it and like old timey. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
It was really good. Well done.
We also like his flashes for the longest. It flashes a couple times and it's on screen for the most number of frames.
It's also just easy to tell because, again, you have that stark contrast of being in a very colorful place to black and white.
Yeah, and 3 of them are fairly, like, the same kind of tech level.
Yeah.
And so it's just a color swap. Not exactly, but that's pretty close to what it is. It's just, like, swapping out the colors and they can still fit.
It's harder to decipher them because they're all pretty similar.
Yeah.
Where, like, Noir's sticks out like a sore thumb in both color scheme and in actual technology.
Yeah. And then I think Gwen's is the pink neon-y one that sort of flashes a couple times. Mm-hmm. But again, like, hers doesn't... I think hers is the closest to what either Miles or Peter's is. Like, they might be fighting in one of Peter's trains, probably. Mm-hmm. So then it's like Gwen's that flashes.
I do want to point out, I like how the train itself doesn't totally flash until it enters that like portal stream.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I think that was a really cool effect to show that and show like why it's acting like that instead of like, well, now it's just glitching randomly.
Yeah, it's all a very, very unstable place.
The last thing I have is the minute ends directly on Kingpin's face, and you start seeing this like look of worry, like a crack in his armor during that
that freeze frame.
Thank you. In that freeze frame.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a good moment, and I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that was all I had for this minute.
Yeah, that's all I have for this minute as well. Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you on Wednesday. I had to think for a second. Catch you on Wednesday with minute 98. Until next time, have a great day.
Bye.